If overwhelm ever has you spinning, second guessing your business, or just wanting to crawl under the duvet and hide for a few days, then this is for you. As a highly sensitive person in business, I know just how quickly things can tip from manageable into meltdown. And so today I'm going to share with you my 5-point recipe for how I get myself out of overwhelm when it hits. I'm Watkin of Selling from the Heart, and I teach heart-centered business owners how to enroll more clients and grow their businesses without manipulative sales or marketing techniques. One of my most popular videos ever is on how I run a business as a highly sensitive person. So many people told me that it hit a chord and that it was an important reminder to understand and honor who you are in business instead of trying to do things like everybody else does. And one of the things I shared in that video is that overwhelm for me is my kryptonite. While others can juggle multiple projects and even thrive on it, I'm just not wired that way. When I take on too much, I don't end the day feeling on top of the world. Instead, I feel overwhelmed and unhappy. And whenever I catch myself questioning my business, my life choices, I soon realize it's not actually my business or my life that's the problem. It's more that I've taken on too much and I've become overwhelmed without realizing it. So instead of trying to be different to who I am, I've developed personal strategies that help me get out of overwhelm, and I call them my recipe for overwhelm. But first, I try to prevent overwhelm in the first place. And some of the ways that I do this are keeping my business model as simple as possible, not committing to too many projects at once, which is not always easy with an online business, having strict boundaries around emails and messages. And yes, of course, this does occasionally offend people, but my health and well-being are more important than keeping everybody happy. I also live in the real world. So I run a business with an online course, a membership of over 300 business owners, private clients, and sometimes I also run a small mastermind. I also have a team to liaise with through the day, and like all of us, I've got friends, I've got family, I've got a home to manage. So of course I get into overwhelm, and it does happen fairly often. I'm also aware of the telltale signs of when I'm slipping into overwhelm. And these signs for me are I wake up in the morning feeling anxious about the day ahead. Sometimes I might even feel a bit of dread. I might jump from one task to another during the day without feeling like I'm making any progress on any of them. Or, and this feels worse, I try to focus on just one task, but I can't because everything else is shouting for my attention. And I also become short-tempered, snappy, irritable. So those for me are the signs. And when I notice those things, I know that I've slipped into overwhelm and that burnout and unhappiness will not be far behind. And that means it's time to activate my recipe. So here is my 5-point recipe for how I get out of overwhelm. So number one for me is journaling. So the more overwhelmed I am, counterintuitively, the more I journal and the longer I spend doing it. I start the day with a nice cup of tea and I write down everything that's on my mind. Just getting it out of my head brings clarity. I then journal to prioritize what truly matters that day and in what order. And if I still can't get clear on something, then I write to my higher self. And I always use a green pen when I do this, and I usually find the guidance that I need. Then number two, this is if overwhelm hits in the middle of the day, I stop working. Again, it might sound counterintuitive, but if my brain is spinning and scattered and everything feels urgent and I can't see the wood for the trees, I just stop work and I will go out for a walk in nature or I'll take a shower. Both of those things for me create space in my brain. It's a little bit like all of the overwhelm had stirred up a pond, and the more I stir the pond, the muddier and cloudier it gets. And taking a break to go for a walk or to have a shower, the mud settles and I can see with clarity again. And I can then return to work knowing what really needs doing and what can wait. I just have to make sure that when I get back to my desk, I capture those things in writing so that I can stick with the plan for the rest of the day. Number 3, I make a list. And then I make another list. And I might rewrite my to-do list sometimes multiple times in a day. And some people might look at me and say, Catherine, in the time it takes you to rewrite your to-do list so many times, you could actually be getting something done, which is a fair point. But for me, this is what creates focus. And in the morning, when I'm doing my journaling, I always write down the top 3 priorities for the day in green at the top of the list. And if during the day I get overwhelmed or scattered, I rewrite the list and I reset the top 3 things in numbered order. If I complete even one of those things, then I know that I've made progress, even if the rest has to wait till the next day. Number 4, again, it's going to sound counterintuitive, but number 4 is I take a nap. Now, as the day goes on, our brains naturally become fatigued. So the further into the day we go, the more likely we are to lose clarity around the most important thing to be focused on, and also to lose the ability to laser focus on it until it is done. So for me, taking a 30-minute nap and then coming back to my desk with a nice cup of tea afterwards is literally like hitting refresh on my brain. It's like a reset button. And I actually save time by having that nap because I get more done with more clarity and focus afterwards. So it's a bit of a superpower. Number 5 in the recipe is acceptance. Now this one in some ways is the hardest and also the most essential. This is acceptance that I'm not Superwoman, that I can't juggle multiple tasks and projects in the same way that somebody else could. It's acceptance that sometimes I'm going to miss something really important, or it won't get done, or that I might let others down, or that I might let myself down, or that I'll create unfair stress for my team even when I don't want to. It's also accepting that perfection isn't possible and trying to be okay with that. Because I'd rather have an imperfect business that I'm actually able to sustain than a perfect one that burns me out or makes me miserable. So I'd love to hear from you. Do any of these resonate? Do you have your own ways of moving through overwhelm, or are you going to adopt some of mine? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to learn more from me, you can download my free guide on how to create a business you love. It's filled with more ingredients that will help you to create the foundations of a business that is sustainable and enjoyable for the long term, because you also deserve to grow a business that loves you back. You can sign up for that at catherinewatkin.com/free guide, and I'll also pop a link in the description below. And if you found this valuable, please do click like or leave me a comment. It tells YouTube that my videos are worth watching, and it helps me reach more lovely humans. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.